Well, let's go on.
A $5 question.
Great.
What will be the name of the... Kara, what are you doing back there?
The name of the first monkey to fly to Jupiter? Is that what it is?
No, that's not what it is.
Ah. Alright.
Alright.
Some other time.
He's kind of...
Whatever.
We're out of calibration here. I'm trying to get the show together into one groove. It's hard.
Lay it on me,
I kind of need some 80s funk, I think.
Oh, 80s funk. Oh, yeah.
This cartoon stuff. Okay, there we go. I'm going to try to just keep moving forward.
Damn,
okay.
good coffee.
Change coffee. Here we go. Where? See, now...
Well, you get what you asked for. Don't complain.
What will the name of the first lunar hotel and saloon be? Or, what will be the ultimate fate of Alcatraz? It's a $5 question, so you should answer both.
First lunar hotel and saloon has the same name. It's the Celine Hotel, and of course I'm talking about the fabulous Earthlight Room, where everything is 1/6 lighter than at home except for your wallet. Oh, and moonshot. Well, those are dispensed there by your friendly, pressure-suited barkeep.
But I'm going to moonshot for this question.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with Michael Jackson. Wait a minute. And what will be the ultimate fate of Alcatraz? It, like everything else, will become frozen, solid, and unmoving when it is turned to absolute zero and as an ash consumed by the eruption of the sun, it now becomes an immobile, energy-free particle as everything closes down into cold and darkness without even ice to bind it in its sleep, which is unending.
Wow, that's the ultimate,
Wow.
Okay, here we go. It could be worse. Who had more balls? Dr. Livingstone or Winston Churchill?
Who can say? And at what time of life either of these guys? Dr. Livingstone actually was found by Stanley. He stayed put, working with God's poor in Central Africa. And that takes large cojones. But actually, he was the active party in the Dr. Livingstone, I presume, moment. That was caused by Stanley in his incessant, restless journey to find the sources of the Nile River. And finally find the saintly Schweitzer like Livingstone. And to speak his immortal lines, all very nice, but I'm not sure it takes enormous testicles. Still, it's not my achievement. I'm not going to run it down. And so, despite the fact that I'm not, I'm just going to come out and say that Churchill had to contend with a lot more. Even the Livingstone. Yeah, you might think of him as a soft old guy with dentures sitting in a steam-heated apartment, and you'd be right. But did you know that when he went to the Boer War and was captured and so forth and escaped and all that, the adventure of the armored train and all the time he was wearing underwear that made him bust out in hives. Because Mr. Churchill had a sensitive skin. He was a sensitive boy. He generally wore special silk underpants. But there in the field as a soldier he couldn't get them. So he was in excruciating, itchy agony. At the same time, he was capturing the armored train. But this was when he was only young. Later on, he had to put up with all sorts of things, jeering, people laughing at him, thinking he was a buffoon, not believing that Mr. Hitler was any kind of a menace at all, ignoring him until it was time to say, Mr. Churchill, we was wrong. Please take control of the helm. And so he did. Still, not at ease, but at least wearing the right kind of underwear. I have spoken.
There it is. The ruling has come in.
Yes,
okay.
Monarchs and their diseases often have a lot to do with history, as we may have occasion to find out later tonight.
Right. Can you explain why people always want to know the meaning of life? Is not life a meaningless series of painful incidents leading to inevitable, awful death? Is that not enough for people?
Well, you've put a lot of thought in your question, and we like to ask Dr. Hal because we like to deal with questions that have some flavor of subtlety about them. And so often, when we receive your impassioned queries, we find that the answer already lies right here on the page, in the middle of the question itself. But I have to say, you have said what life is, not what life means. Life may indeed be a series of painful and embarrassing incidents. I know it has been in my case. But it is the sum total of these experiences which may be construed as meaning or meaningful. But meaningful to whom, you might ask? And here is the crux. It must be meaningful to another person. If some other person gives two beans about you and your life has achieved meaning. But if only you are out there gibbering and squeaking, then your life isn't, but perhaps should be, in the famous phrase, nasty, brutish, and short. All right, hand me another one. I'll be better this time.
Here we go. Can you please make a rhyme?
Rats.
Do you make rhymes?
You bet I do, of course, but they're better when you get a chance to do it correctly instead of blurt out something foolish.
No, Hal. It's better that you can do it off the top of your head, something that no one else can do.
Well, what word have they given me to rhyme this time?
Well, they've given you two words that they want you to rhyme.
Very well.
The question is, can you please make a rhyme about an orange and a carpenter?
I suppose I could. And since you asked me, yes, I will do so. Now, of course, one can get out of the necessity of rhyming something at any remove, as far as most people are concerned, by providing not a rhyme. This isn't going to be an epic poem, for Christ's sake. Not a rhyme, but an assonance, where the name is similar at the line ending, but is not a good rhyme. Like, you know, nose and price. Those are not rhymes, but they are very weak assonants. But nose and rose is a good rhyme. You see where I'm heading here. So now we have orange and carpenter. Yeah, so,
do you want me to stall?
No. Yeah. Miss Carpenter entered the room wearing orange, but her dress was quite ripped when it caught in the door hinge, revealing for all the others to see just what it was that endeared her to me. Yeah. I didn't say I had to rhyme carpenter, just that I had to use carpenter. But carpenter is easier to rhyme than to go around. You'll see.
Okay, we're going to ask Hal this question.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to ask Hal to answer this question as Nixon. Will you answer this question as Nixon?
Who's
as
Nixon?
Richard Nixon.
Richard Nixon.
Oh.
President of the United States.
Okay, here we go. Why is it more difficult to get people from San Francisco to come to the East Bay than it is to get people from the East Bay to come to San Francisco? Why is that?
Well, chicken, you don't want to make a lot of distinctions and make some folks unhappy, but if you're a political realist, then you've got to realize people are more content in San Francisco than they are in Oakland or the East Bay or any of those very fine places that we would never run down in a million years, but we've got to tell it like it is. And so people are more anxious in the East Bay to come to San Francisco, the now a go-go place where it's happening, and not leave that swinging spot for some place that's full of, well, you know, not real Americans.
Ladies and gentlemen,